Hello and welcome back to Strongwoman High's Life is a Mishmash. Today we have one of the greatest strongwomen ever, Andrea Thompson, joining us on the podcast. She's multiple World's Strongest Woman winner and multiple world record holder. Welcome to the pod, Andrea.
Thank you so much. Great introduction.
I know. I was literally like, I can't believe we've managed to get Andrea on the pod. This is awesome. Like, just absolutely class. So, yeah, do you want to give a brief introduction to everybody in case they don't know who you are? They obviously should if they're listening, but if they don't, little introduction elevator pitch.
So, Andrea Thompson, I am from Suffolk. I am 42 now. I've been doing Strongwoman for around 12 years now. I think I'm up to 12 years. As you said, World's Strongest Woman 2018, 2023, Master Strongest Woman. I did hold the world record for the log, but that's just been beaten. I've got 2 Guinness World Records. A few things under my belt.
You've had some deadlift records for a while as well, didn't you? Have
Oh yeah,
bar deadlift record.
elephant. Yeah, I've still got the elephant bar deadlift. Yeah, that's I forget about that one. That's quite a big lift as well. 800 pounds on the elephant bar.
Pretty big one, yeah. Hard to
forget. Not one I can forget easily.
No, 100%. Nah, it's so cool to have you on. So we were going to do like the obvious podcast stuff, but I also just quickly before we start want to talk about Britain's Strongest Woman because that's coming up. So this podcast will be out before. So if you're listening and you still want to get spectator tickets, they'll still be available. Go to Giants Live. It'll all be in the show notes below. But do you just want to quickly run us through how you're feeling for it, what the events are, all that sort of jazz about the competition?
So this competition, I wasn't going to do Britain's Strongest Woman actually at the start of the year. I was planning just to make all my focus on beginning and end of the year. I'm getting to the point now, I'm getting tired and recovery training takes longer, recovery takes longer. My body just breaks a lot quicker and it just takes me so long to get back to normal. So my plan was to not do Britain's unless the events were going to be okay for me to do. Because one, I just don't want to disappoint anyone, and 2, I don't want to get injured over something that's not really on my radar right now. So the events have come out. I'm happy with 3 out of 5 events. So I thought, okay, we're just going to go and YOLO it and have a little bit of fun. So we've got the deadlift ladder, which I think goes up to 250. I'm really terrible at actually knowing the full details. That's why I have a coach, because it's just like, you just go and do the thing and just turn up. So we've got deadlift ladder. That should be fun. Log, 90 kilo log for reps, 60 seconds. I'm happy with that. I'm doing like 97 in the gym for about 8 reps at the moment. So, I mean, I'm not like dancing around and I'm like proper gassed out afterwards. You know, it's pretty hard. So I'm happy with that event anyway. We've got yoke, 280 yoke for 20 meters. I used to be really, really good at yoke, but something's happened over the last year, whether it's just my old lady hips have just gone, nah, you don't like heavy things on your back anymore. But I have actually struggled to do the yoke for the first time in like forever.
Yeah.
I can move it, but I'm not as quick as like I used to get like 10, 20 meters in like less than 10 seconds. And I'm now like halfway. What's happened to my knees and my legs? So that'll be, it might change on the day. Everything changes. Everything kind of increases on the day. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah. And then 2 of my worst events, which are sandbags, sandbag steeplechase.
Awful event.
And yeah, it's just pretty great. And it's at the end. And max shield carry. Now, I've actually enjoyed doing it. I don't like carrying things too much, but I've actually enjoyed practicing for this event. You just have to get over being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You just have to suck it. It's one of those where you have to suck it up.
Yeah, I think it's the same shields that they used at Europe's in 2023, I think it was, wasn't it? Because that was like a heavy max distance carry. And they're actually quite nice because they're thin, aren't they?
Yeah. So but they're really long. They're actually quite, like the body of it is really long and I'm really short. So for the taller people, it's quite okay because they're just touching the thighs, but it's almost at my knees. So I don't get the stride that you would normally. I'm a proper waddler because I'm having to shift my whole body to get the bloody thing to move. So it's definitely going to be I'm here for the people for this particular competition. I always like doing the giant size ones, and I really want the British scene to continue to do as well as it has. I know sometimes the like, especially the open weight category women, like doing the big shows, they tend to struggle to sell seats. So I
Yeah.
really want to keep that momentum going and keep improving on that one.
100%. I love that. Yeah, because it's super important, like pushing these shows and stuff like that, getting you guys out there because it needs to be. And when it's out there, people love it. It's just
Yeah,
getting it out there and promoting it all the time, isn't it? But
yeah,
I think it'll
definitely.
be a mint comp. That is the Shield. I don't. We didn't say how heavy it was it? It's 130 kilos, isn't it?
130, yeah.
That's absolutely fucking insane. That's
It's
so heavy.
disgusting. I can do the Husafel sandbags. I've been
Yeah.
practicing on that, and so this weekend I've actually got to practice on the shield because I've been probably taking the comfortable route out of it. Um, but yeah, so the weight isn't an issue. I think it's just the size and the
Yeah.
awkwardness
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
it is going to be pretty gross.
Yeah, 100%. You won't have the benefit either of going down to your fingertips, I guess now either if you're that short, because it'll just hit the
No,
floor, won't it?
I'll just be dragging it on my feet.
Do I wonder if you could like balance it on in between your feet or something so it wasn't quite touching the ground? I wonder what the rules would
Yeah,
be like. What
I don't
Darren
know.
would say.
If I just don't ask, then I can just do it, can't I? That's the thing. Don't ask.
Absolutely.
Not going
Let's hope
against the
none of
rules.
the none of the people doing the rules are
Just
listening to this podcast. They won't be. Well, actually, they might be because it's you. Usually, for me, there wouldn't be, but for you, there might be. So, might just shot yourself in the foot there, literally.
yeah, probably.
No, but it's so exciting. It's going to be really, really cool. And it's like a good lineup as well, isn't it? There's like you, Lucy, Rebecca Roberts, Donna, like the absolute staples all battling it out again. Then there's quite a few new faces as well.
Lots of
Octopus is in
newbies,
there as
yeah.
well.
Yeah, I'm really nice to see Annabelle back in the mix.
Yeah,
She should yeah, it'd be nice to see her coming back up and doing what she's good at. We've missed her, I think.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, we needed her back in the sport, didn't we? Yeah, she's
Yeah.
a welcoming back. It's fucking great.
Yeah. It's also nice to see the new faces as well because I can see I mean I actually looked at the ages when they did the ID cards and stuff that we had out a few days ago, and
Yeah,
a lot of us are over 40.
yeah.
There's only maybe three or four that are under 40 years old.
Yeah, I noticed that as well, which is just awesome, innit? And that also shows how
Yeah,
stacked like the Masters is now as well.
yeah,
It's
yeah. The Masters
absolutely
category is definitely not one to poo-poo. That was a couple of years ago. It was not really taken seriously, the Masters category.
yeah,
And I think when I did it, it was no, I don't want to say like it was a turning point for the Masters category when I did it, but I think coming from the open weight category and then stepping into the Masters category, and I did that because I just come back from an injury as well. I knew I couldn't compete with the open weight category in that, just a few months
yeah,
after my bicep recovery repair. So doing the Masters category, I think then opened up a lot of doors for other people who were coming up to that sort of age and say actually it is still a big deal. And then you've got Claire Marley who does both 40s and
yeah,
50s category. um
yeah,
so it's definitely not a category to probably put any kind of lesser importance on, I guess.
yeah. No, I would totally agree. I think it just needed the depth, didn't it? That's the thing. Like
Yeah.
it's because it was still quite a new class, like a few years ago. It's the
Hmm.
same as sort of the 73s. I think the 73s is easier because people were already in those like weight ranges, weren't they? Whereas
Hmm.
the Masters, like everyone's sort of growing up into strongman, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like there seems to be like
Yeah.
a pretty core group that's been in it for a long time
Hmm.
before, and before that there was like not really anything. So I think as you guys have come up and come through, like the Masters has now got all that depth, and it just
Yeah.
makes it like a really competitive class now.
Yeah, definitely it's definitely going to be one to that's going to keep growing. And the fact that they've opened another, because I've been trying to retire for about 3 years, and every so often something really exciting comes along, and now there's maybe 50s. I was like, I'm not doing this when I'm 50. No way. I'm like, actually, do I want to do this when I'm 50? I think my
No,
body will allow me to do it when I'm 50.
I know, 100%. It will. And also, I can't wait for the over 60s when Claire Myler gets
Oh
there
my
as well, because I'm
God. Can
guaranteed
you
that's
imagine?
fucking happening at some point, innit? There's definitely going to end up being an over
Oh,
60s.
yeah, it'd be crazy.
Yeah, wild. But nah, that's awesome. Right, let's get into the proper podcast then. So, what has been your strong woman high?
Um, so obviously winning World's Strongest Woman 2018 was a good high for me. But a personal strongwoman high is actually, so 2018 I won it. 2019 I came third, so I was really disappointed with myself for that. But we have so the BBC Sports Personality of the Year. We had a local one, and I was nominated by. I didn't even know I was nominated until the invitation just come through the door. And I actually won Suffolk Sports Personality of the Year,
Oh my
and I
god.
got invited to like a glitzy evening, and big, just everybody there just erupted, and I
Yeah.
was sat there crying. So for me, although winning a world title was great, but for me to receive an acknowledgement from the community, and hundreds of people I didn't even know had actually voted for me to
Yeah.
be, the sports personality of the year, I was like completely overwhelmed. So I think to people outside, they'd be like, "Well, winning world strongest woman or winning world titles or world records should be it." But actually, to me personally, my high was winning a personality award.
100%. I love that.
Yes, that was really good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's such a cool thing to get like awarded for as well, isn't it? And it shows like that you're like people know you and like love you in the community as well, doesn't
Mm,
it? Like it's just awesome that. What a cool thing to have got.
yeah, really, really good. And to be honest, I think that was just the year before COVID, so there's not actually been another one since then. So I still hold the title for Suffolk Sports Personality. So
Defending
that's one
champ.
takeaway.
Been the champ for what,
For
65
about five,
years
six
now?
years. Yeah, it's great.
Absolutely class. Yeah, I love that. And I wanted to talk a little bit about World's Strongest Woman 2018 as well, because like what an achievement that is to just hold a World's Strongest Woman title. It's like in Strong Woman, it's a revered title, isn't it?
Mhm.
Like, how did you feel about the win and like the prep and the competition itself?
So I had a real hard time. I was with the guy that I started doing all my prep with. The year before I'd done like really terribly, and he was quite hard with me, really, really hard. And I just started a new job as well, so I was trying to hold down a new job, and that's like a complete career change. So I was having to learn the job and qualify and everything else. My children were quite young, and everything just became a blur. So prep for that was really, really, and I trained a lot of the time. I trained in the dark. I trained with a lot of like motivation music or just silence. A lot of times I cried my way through sessions just to get through it because it was just a whole new level of pressure that I was experiencing. So when I was getting to this, like almost getting to the stage, actually, I've got a picture of when I had my last training session, and I just looked beaten, completely beaten and worn out. But I sacrificed a lot of time with my children, so that there's times that I didn't do like bedtime routine, I didn't pick up from school because I was at the gym or had to go to work. So that for
Yeah.
me was a real turning point in being an athlete and a mum and trying to combine the two. So when I
Yeah.
won it, I was a little bit underwhelmed. I was with Farah Fonseca at the time, and she's like, babe, you've won. I was like, I know. She's like, but you've just what I said, I know, but what do I do now? So she's like, and she just started to squawk. I don't know if you know Farah, but she's just a very squawky person.
Yeah.
And I actually found the whole situation quite underwhelming at the time. I was like, okay, so this is me, because at the time Donna was, she was the one that everyone thought was going to win. She was the top one. So to
Yeah.
beat her, I just felt that there was like this eerie silence, like, oh my god, Donna's just been beaten. That kind of weirdness.
Yeah.
And it was a good few weeks later actually when like the local press picked it up. Like I went to pick up my children from school, and the class had all done me little kiddies congratulations thing. And it took a little bit of time to kind of
Yeah.
to suck it, or just to reap it all in, and understand what I'd actually done.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of stuff going on, like family wise, or like relationship wise, I was trying to deal with as well. So having this massive high and actually coming home to the shit that I left behind as such was a really difficult
Yeah.
time for me. So it wasn't a spectacular occasion, to be honest. I did find the whole thing quite underwhelming.
Yeah. Oh god, that's
I know
it's
it's,
sad.
it does sound sad, but in another way, it was a lot of stuff that I dealt with in the past that I've grown up to kind of sort out and actually embrace what I've done.
Yeah.
It's taken a lot of
Yeah.
things for me to realize, actually, do you know what? You've done some real cool shit. You've done,
Yeah.
you've worked really hard. But at that time, I didn't really appreciate that. I didn't know that at the time. So,
Yeah.
but now,
But
I'm
what
sitting here.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, what an achievement anyway, like to have still won that world's title
Yeah.
against all those odds as well. Like what a like absolute battle to get to that point on a year that you probably didn't expect to win that
Hmm.
either, and like still fucking smashed it out the park. Like that in itself is
Yeah.
fucking class. Like proper come
Yeah.
up story, innit?
Looking back at it now, like I'm literally like, yeah, I did the thing, and I was really proud. I'm really proud of what I did, but at the time, I just wasn't. So, yeah, I'm definitely pleased with with what I did now. But yeah, so at the time it wasn't great, but yeah, it just kind of after that it just snowballed. Everything snowballed. Things just went from good to better.
Yeah,
And so many opportunities came up, and I was flying all around the world, which was
amazing.
great.
Yeah, like the start of a snowball effect.
It was, yeah, really was.
Class, class. I love that. It's like the hard work paid off story, isn't it? Like made it.
Yeah, it took a while. Lots of sacrifice, but yeah, it definitely paid off.
Class, I love that. I wanted to talk to you as well a little bit about your like rivalry, but also like great friendship that you have with Donna, because I love this, and I feel like this is only like a real strong woman thing where like you can be like really good mates, but then also be like, I'm gonna absolutely fuck you up at this comp.
So that again, that came out of the blue, the friendship thing, because I'd met Donna at my first Britain's Strongest Woman, and I was like met with all these giant, because I was still a CrossFit, I was this tiny CrossFitter at the time, and so I'd met these giant ladies, and I was petrified. And so then you start like the internet becomes a little bit more of a thing. You start looking at all the things that they've done. So there was a lot of rivalry there, but I mean, she's always been lovely. She's always been really friendly. I'm not always a great people person when I first meet people, but she's always been extra friendly. But there has still been that little bit of rivalry. And then when I won Britain's World's Strongest Woman, I went to her and I was like, I found it really difficult to maintain that top level at all time. And she'd already
Yeah,
won it like three times before then. And I was like, how do you like maintain the pressure of having to stay on form all the time? And that
yeah,
became like a little bit of a respectful kind of friendship between us. And of course,
yeah,
we're like similar age. We've got a similar sort of home life. And then we started to build the sport together in the direction that we wanted it to go, because it started to veer off into a horrible direction at one point. So we kind of came together and started to veer it off. And we've done a lot of
yeah,
stuff together. We've travelled together. We've go out partying together. We've have our own little group chats, and we have our moans and we have share our highs and our lows between us. And a lot of the stuff that doesn't go out on social media, we can share that between ourselves.
yeah,
We've got a really, really good sort of close relationship like that, and we'll end up having like a couple of hour natter on the phone. Sometimes not even about strongman, because it takes
yeah,
over our lives. So we just like to have normal conversations sometimes. But equally, when we do compete, I mean, I'm very competitive with everybody. I can be really good friends. Like Lucy's one of my best friends as well, but she's like my main rival at the moment. But we can,
yeah,
like this weekend, we're off to Royal Albert Hall, and we'll have a great time together. But in a couple of weeks' time, I'll be like this, giving her the eyes over, over the
yeah,
deadlift. Do you know what I mean? So um, I think it's just a bit of a respectful friendship, and understanding the hard work that has gone into to what we've achieved,
yeah,
and to what we do, and the hard work that we put into training. You understand the other person's just shittiness that comes with it sometimes. You just understand how they feel,
yeah,
and that's kind of what brought us together.
yeah.
It's
It's
really good,
awesome
really good.
that. I
Yeah,
absolutely love it. It's just so cool. It's cool that like all of like Britain's Strongest Woman, all of you are such good mates, and like yeah, on that competition floor, you'll all be absolutely gunning for that win. Like that battle between you and Lucy on that deadlift ladder is going to be insane. I'm so
I don't know
hoping you
about
both get
that. My
there.
back's killing me at the minute.
Oh, cool. That's not fighting talk. You're still in friend mode here, Andrea. No, come
I
on.
am actually. The
Fighting
fighting
talk
talk will
comes
come on the day.
back. Yeah, I'm so excited for that. Now it's going to be absolutely mint. Right. Well, let's move on from that lovey-dovey bit then and go on to the bad bits. What's been your strong woman low?
Um, strong. I think there's been a few like low points for me personally. Like particularly like losing the World Strongest Woman title. That was pretty low time for me. But equally
Yeah.
dealing with family situations as well. It just a combination wasn't great. There was a little bit of a toxic time in the sport where I think it was on the turn. It was on the change from being a bit of like a niche thing, like a sideline show for the men, as
Mm,
were people were discovering actually the women's sport is actually really entertaining. But there was a lot of people coming through which we wanted, that were coming in with an entitlement attitude.
mm,
And it made all of us look bad. Like, I want sponsorships, I want this being paid, I should be invited to this show, I can out deadlift so and so, and I'm like, and not all the time is your accolades going to get you places. Sometimes your personality will get you to a show that you might not even thought about being invited to. And it really was quite hard to kind of speak to some of these people coming, like being like an older, I keep getting called a legend or a veteran, which is like basically you're just old. Um, Being somebody who's been around the sport a little while, to try and just say, look, it's taken a long time for the women just to even get to a show, like their own show. If it wasn't for Giants Live putting on the teams games, the national teams games
yeah,
things,
yeah,
we may not have even had our own show. So we've
yeah,
got to thank them, and not only that, they like the prize money. We're still working on the prize money, but 5 years ago there was no prize money.
yeah.
So the fact that
Absolutely.
you're having your petrol paid for, your hotel, even if it's a travel lodge, you're having that paid for. That's so much better than what it was 5 years ago. But there was a time when the girls were coming in with this entitled attitude because they were coming in at a time when the sport was evolving. They
Yeah,
hadn't gone through the shit time of grubby car parks and asbestos filled gyms and being
yeah,
out in the wind and the rain. They want to come in to the glamorous venues with lights and smokes and their names and up and people shouting their names. They want that, which is great, but you kind of need to work. You need to
yeah.
work
It
for it.
takes time.
You'll appreciate the sport a lot more if you have to work for it. Now that
Yeah,
is
of course.
something that I say a lot because I really appreciate what I've been the opportunities that I've been given.
Yeah,
But if I hadn't have worked my way up and been humble with it, I suppose,
yeah,
um, I probably wouldn't even have had half the opportunities that I've had. I've gone to Australia, Dubai. I'm
yeah,
like, I'm off to Singapore in November. Do you know what I mean? It's just some of the things that I would never have even put on my list. But had I not have done the things first,
yeah,
it just the sport wouldn't be where it was if you hadn't gone through all the rubbish bits first.
yeah,
And I think they
yeah.
just don't. Some of the people just don't appreciate that. They want the glamour now. They want it now and expect it
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Hold
I
on,
totally
hold
agree.
on.
And I think it's like it's from like the very beginning of the sport and like all the way up to the top level, obviously as well. Because even in like grassroots now, like a lot of like you see novices come in, and you do get the odd person who comes in, like say Angelica Jardine, who's come in and she's just a powwow. She's done it for like a year, and she's just insane. That's an anomaly. That like for
Yes.
majority of people, most people aren't going to come into this sport and get to that level. It's going to take work, but because they're seeing like standouts like her against like you guys, I think a lot of people think, oh, these guys are the same. They've only been doing it a few years. Like,
Hmm.
no, you've put like fucking 12 years into this sport. Like, it's not
Yeah.
come easy. And the only reason we're on them big stages is because of you guys going through it all for us. So, like,
Hmm.
yeah, I do think there's a little bit of that sometimes in this sport, and it just needs to be
Yeah.
like, just a bit patience. Patience is the one for this.
Look at where football is, like women's football. How long has it taken for women to be able to get into their own stadium and
Yeah.
to get like the pay? And even on that pay, there's not even as much as the guys are getting, but they're still getting
No.
massive amount compared to what they had been years ago. And the
Yeah,
women's football
100%.
is huge. And it's
Yeah,
still not
it's
at the stage that they
amazing.
want it to be. So,
Yeah,
Strong Woman has literally been around for, I reckon, probably 20, 30 years at the most.
yeah,
Like,
I
we've
would have
got
said so.
grandparents that have been watching Strongman when they were younger. Do you know what I mean? So Strongman's been around for donkey's years. We just need to be patient. Just need to be patient.
100%.
The big stage, the massive pay rises and all the things, it's probably not going to happen in my time, but it's
Yeah,
coming. I'm now seeing a little bit of the benefits
yeah.
in that process. But just be patient. It's coming.
100%. And I think as well, a lot of the problem is that people want that big glitzy glam, yeah, where we've made it, but they don't actually want to help the sport at all. And I think
No.
that's a big thing as well. Like, if you get asked to turn up at events to ref or to like commentate or just to be a guest presence there to bring like more eyes on that event, then do it if you can. Like, if you've got
Yeah.
free time and you don't have anything else to do, go and do it. Put a bit of support in, put a
Hmm.
bit of volunteering work in. Like, it goes such a long way, doesn't it? And like,
Yeah,
people just
definitely.
don't, they can't be bothered, they don't want to do it. And you think that's what gets your name out there in strongman,
Yeah.
is being everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. That's 100% as well. And just, you don't know who you're inspiring either. If you're that one woman who's standing in the back of the crowd and you see that other woman there that's just commentating, or she knows what she's talking about, she's having a bit of an interview, it might just trigger that one person to say, do you know what, I think I'm going to give that a go. And then that's your next person coming through. It just
Yeah,
takes one. And I say, if I've inspired one person out my whole career, then I think my job's well done. If I've got a teenager who looks up to me and wants to be world's strongest woman one day because of what I've done, I'm happy. I'm really happy with that.
yeah,
But yeah, like, even like going to the guys shows, like, we get invited to those all the time. Not everyone can go, and I understand that life happens. But I'm
yeah,
going to the Royal Albert Hall this weekend. I'll just be there as a spectator. We'll get asked to go on the floor and talk about Britain's Strongest Women. You're just there just to meet some people, and you're going to have a jolly old night because we get treated just as well as the guys do when we're just there watching.
yeah,
So yeah, definitely be involved. Try and get involved in the sport, and don't be afraid to talk about it. What you do to other people.
yeah. I love that. Love that. Fucking great advice. Well, that moves us on perfectly then to
Yeah.
our next section, which is, what would you say to yourself when you first started the sport?
Be patient. It's going to be a long slog. I think you don't realize now that the hard work you're putting in is going to people are going to know your name in a few years' time. People will know who you are. People will see what you've done. But you need to keep your head down, and you just need to work hard at it.
Yeah.
And your children's friends will be more impressed than your children will be. My
Yeah.
kids are so over it.
They've grown up around strongman comps, like,
They're
mum's
just like,
doing it again.
I'm fed
Fucking
up with
hell,
this
here we
now.
go.
Yeah, but just be the hard work is so easy to stop because it is really, really hard. The training that we do, the stuff that we throw around is really hard and awkward. And I see so many people stopping early because of that. They can't break through that hard barrier. But yeah, that would definitely be something that I would have told myself, is to head down, focus on yourself, and you'll find your way. You'll find your way in the
Yeah.
sport.
Yeah. I love that. I think as well, so if, say, like, there's somebody going through a time now where they're like, not really into strong woman, like, I've done it for a couple of years, I'm thinking like, oh, I don't really want to do it anymore, because I'm sure you've had these like feelings throughout 12 years of the
Hmm.
sport. What are the sort of things that have brought you back into it? How have you got yourself around those like feelings?
Um, I think my body got used to the training, and when you, like, if you take a holiday, you take a bit of a break, you feel like, I need to do something, I need to get up and do something. But it actually becomes a bit more of a mental, spiritual healing. Like, I need to get to the gym. I need to go to the gym because that's my time. Even if it's an hour, that's my time where I've got heavy swearing music in my ears. I can start sweating. I can say hello to people if I want to. Otherwise, I don't talk to anyone. But that's my time, and especially during COVID when we couldn't get to the gym, a lot of people suffered with their mental health because that was their release, wasn't it?
Yeah,
So um, I think it's really difficult to say to someone, just get back in the gym and just get back and doing it, because if you don't have that, you just need to take smaller steps. No, you don't have to compete. No one has to compete or anything, but I think just doing the sport and being surrounded by like-minded people will really encourage you. So there was times that I would just go to the gym and just sit and watch everybody train. If I didn't feel
Yeah.
like training myself, I just couldn't feel like I just didn't face training, I would just go and sit in the gym and watch everybody else. And that kind of helped me get back into it.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, that's a good. I do like that because I think gym environments, especially with
Hmm.
strongman, because it's so supportive. Like it's just a
Yeah.
good community to be in anyway, even if you're not
Yeah.
doing anything.
Yeah. It's just great to be at some, like I say, sometimes I like the banter. On a Saturday morning, there's a massive group of people that go to this gym, and I quite enjoy that massive environment. But 3 other sessions in the week, you don't talk to me. I'm here to do the thing.
Only talk
Saturday is
to
my like
Andrea on
social
weekends.
time. Yeah, just only on weekends it's fine, but during the week it just I don't know. I think that just the weekends when you do like the event stuff, so you need the people around to kind of encourage you. But um,
Yeah,
yeah, definitely the gym environment is such a massive deal for me.
yeah, I love that. So there's a little question I wanted to ask as well while you were talking about that. So in terms of like being in the sport for 12 years, you've obviously had to deal with losses like not retaining like the world's strongest woman title, say in 2019. How have you then dealt with that to continue competing? Because I know that for a lot of people puts them off, the feeling like that they can't stay at like a certain level. That's not what I'm saying about you, by the way. That's not a diss.
That was
That
exactly
is,
how I felt. That was exactly how I felt. I literally stopped training. I hung up my belt. I said, I'm not doing it anymore. I couldn't cope with the loss of. I mean, I just still come third, so it wasn't terrible. But to me, that was like the worst thing in the world. I've just won a world title to then come third.
yeah,
Like, who even am I now? This means I'm crap. I can't do this. So yeah, definitely, it was really hard to come back from. So I did hang up my belt. Literally, gave all my stuff to the gym. Um, and it was actually the gym manager that said just come back and just get in with like a couple of classes, like kettlebell classes, and just get back in the gym and do something.
yeah,
And then I got quickly bored of doing all the classes. I was like, actually, just give me a stone, give me a yoke.
yeah,
So it just took. I think it's just a little bit of a break. Just sometimes taking a bit of a break from it. Even like when I've done the Arnold's in March, I do take a good couple of months off. Like a month, just not doing anything specific. I'll do like bodybuilding style stuff.
yeah,
But I literally need that clear. I need to clear my mind because it gets so like hectic and frenzied around those
yeah.
big shows. I literally just take time out. So taking a break is a necessity, I find.
Yeah, I love that. I love that because and it's
Mm.
hard as well. Like now, because there's so many competitions, so many like pretty much all throughout the year now. There isn't really we don't have an off season anymore, do we? Like there
No,
used to be a bit of a like wintry off season after Worlds, but that's just out the fucking window now. So like
yeah,
yeah, I do think that's super important. Be a bit more picky with your shows and have breaks when you need them because like
hmm
having a couple of weeks to a month off of training strongman's not going to do anyone no harm.
no. Your body remembers so much. You know, if you're training hard for a competition, your body naturally will need the recovery like a week to 2 weeks anyway. You know, there's no way that people can be on top form. I mean, some people just freaks of nature can be your top form all the time. I don't know how they do it because that's literally not me. But to take a
Yeah.
good couple of weeks off and just chilling out, just being back to like a normal person, having normal life is so like good for my brain especially. And then the next 2 weeks just to start getting slowly back into the routine. Your body remembers literally everything that you've done, so it doesn't take long to come back even if you take a break.
Yeah, I think that's fucking great advice. So good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's been fantastic. So, final bit then, before we go on to the next final bit, is there anything else you would like to say about Strong Woman or Bugs to Bear or anything to get off your chest before we move on?
um what do I want to get off my chest? I do want to start re-emphasize about being a big woman in this sport and wearing whatever the fuck we want.
Hell yeah.
We are still being told to cover up. I mean, it doesn't matter big or small, to be honest. But as a big woman myself, I still get looked upon. I like to wear crop tops and hot pants. Now these are booty shorts, and I've got a big bum, and I will wear whatever I like. And sometimes I just leave the gym and I go to Tesco's wearing that crop top and booty shorts, which is where I get frowned upon a little bit more. But I think we just need to embrace what we're doing. Like our sport is really, not everyone's doing what we're doing. You can go to the gym and do a treadmill. Everyone can do that, but not everyone can do strong women. So embrace how your body is changing and what your body is actually achieving. Because we've seen from all the weight categories, you've got the teeny tiny under 64s, we've got the open weight women, some of them 160 kilos, over 40s women, over 50s women. We are all different sizes and shapes and colours and creeds, and just embrace who you are and what you do. Don't conform to anybody else's standards. That's pretty much, yeah. Just do the fuck you want. This is our sport. This is, we are here. We're loud and we're proud.
I love that. That's fucking class. That I'm going to save that as a soundbite. I'm going to listen to it every morning.
We are here. We are loud and we are proud.
Fuck
do it.
Yeah, it's like a mantra, isn't it? Strong woman mantra.
Yeah.
They should take that for Giants Live. There you go. That could be the little promo video for Britain's Strongest Woman. Nah, class. I love it. Right, let's move on then for some foolishness, shall we? So
Yes.
we're on to the silly goose.
Silly goose. It's silly goose time, where our lips get loose and our minds run free. Silly goose. It's silly goose time, where we chat a load of shit that's of absolutely no use. It's silly goose time.
Do you have a silly goose for the table?
Do I have a silly goose for the table?
The silly goose question. Did you read the questions that I sent you, Andrea?
Oh, did I not read that bit?
The silly goose bit at the end, where I'm going to ask you a stupid question, just a random stupid question that's been tickling me brain for a while. You can have one if you want. Sometimes people bring them, sometimes they don't.
I don't have a silly goose question.
That's okay. So my silly goose question for you is: would you rather? It's a two-part. This one. Would you rather have multiple arms or multiple legs? And whichever decision that is, how many and why?
Okay. I would rather have multiple arms, I think.
Yeah.
Just because I can carry more things, do more things, a bit more practical having more arms than legs. That would take a lot of negotiation trying to walk. Especially if I'm not used to having more legs than just two. If they were just sprung on me all of a sudden, I'd be like, oh, how does my brain work 4 legs instead of 2? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not that I would be any better at working 6 arms.
Is that how many? 6?
I think 6 is probably a good number. I think you could do a lot with 6 arms. Yeah, you could slap a lot of people, couldn't you? You could slap 6 people at one time.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be great. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do with my arms.
You could bake a cake really fast.
And slap somebody at the same time. I mean, I'm not a violent person, but a lot of people do need slapping sometimes.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that, yeah. You could just keep one arm free all the time.
Just a slapping arm.
Just your slap arm, yeah. Get a bit close. Wham. Yeah, no, I would agree. My decision was 2 arms. I think I would like just 2 extras, so I had 4. I think that'll probably be enough, because then I'm also thinking, if no one else has got 2 arms or legs, you could hide 2 arms, just in case people got a bit freaked out about it in public. So, yeah, I think an extra 2 arms would be handy. However, I do like the idea of having 2 more legs and then being able to run really fucking fast.
But again, would they be like 4, as in you've got these legs side by side, would they be side by side, or would you be like crab legs? Or you'd have to walk. I guess you'd have to walk crab or.
I mean,
or 2 in front and 2.
I would assume you would have a little bit extra spine out of where your tailbone comes out, and you'd have another pelvis behind you, a bit like a centaur. I don't know how you say that.
Okay, yeah, that's if I was going to have extra legs, that's probably how I would want them to be, 2 in front, 2 at the back. Yeah, I don't think I'd I don't think I want them one body and then 4 legs sort of side by side.
However,
like a comb, you'd look like a comb, wouldn't you, or like a brush?
Yeah, that would. Yeah, I would think it would be hard. Your balance would be slightly off, wouldn't it? If you'd be too sideways, not enough forward and backward.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess
I'm going to have bad dreams about that tonight. I'm going to dream about that tonight. going to wake
gonna
up with
make
4 legs or something.
I'm going to make it much worse now because I'm sort of thinking of like a person with like about 8 legs around their outside, like a octopus, because I
Yeah,
bet you could train yourself to run really fast in that way, and you would be like multi-directional. Like you'd be
you
able to
would,
go
yeah.
anywhere really fast.
And octopuses quite fast anyway, aren't they? If they were to be able to like
Really fast. Well, it's like a spider,
scoot,
isn't it?
do they run or do they slide? Are they scoot?
I think they're more like that, don't they?
They pulse.
Pulse.
They pulse. That's their terminology of walking.
Yeah, they pulse instead of walk.
I'm gonna have to
yeah.
Google that. I'm gonna have to Google that one, I think.
There you go. Your silly goose has left you with another silly goose. And this is the beauty of it. There's no right answers. Nobody knows anything about it.
No.
Awesome. Right. Well, thank you so much for that. Is there anything that you want to plug or where can people find you? All that sort of stuff before we finish the pod.
You can find me on Instagram, Andrea Thompson _Strongwoman. I'd like to plug the documentary that myself, Lucy, and Chloe did last year.
Yeah.
That is called A Strong Woman, the documentary. That's on the Giants Live YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Absolute must see, male and female. I think it just hits everybody.
100%.
Yeah, that was the massive thing
It's
for
on
us.
our link tree as well, actually. So if anyone's already on the link tree, it's already on there.
Excellent. Yeah, that's the big plug for me. But yeah, otherwise, come down to Britain's Strongest Woman. Come and see the ladies. Come and do some heavy shit and cheer us on, support us. Come and share our highs and our lows because I'm sure there will be lots of those.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Absolutely love that. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast, Andrea, and we will see you all on the next one. Goodbye.
Thank you for having me. Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Strong Woman Highs, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to support the podcast, then please give us a follow on Instagram. Or if you would like, we're also on buymeacoffee.com/strongwomanhighs. This is where you can send us tips, or you can also join our membership area, which is $5 a month or £4 a month. It's the silly gosling level. We'll post out any extra content that we get on there, and hopefully a few little free giveaways of things as well. The podcast currently doesn't cost a lot to run, which is what we're trying to keep it as, but we would like to be able to cover our costs, and also once those costs are covered, any profit that is made on Strong Woman Highs will be getting saved up and put into a pot for future Strong Woman competitions that we can sponsor. So if you have a Strong Woman competition that you'd like to be sponsored, or if you want to be on the podcast, then give us a shout, send me a message on Instagram or on YouTube, anywhere else you can get us, and we'll get it sorted, because the more women that we can get on, the better. Thanks for listening and watching. Bye!